Welcome to Don't Panic, a narrative fiction weekly horror podcast hosted by me, Dawson Henry. I publish a series of episodes each month to tell new, thrilling stories no one has ever heard before. So if you enjoyed this week's episode and want to continue to support us, visit our page at don'tpanic.com to stay tuned to our latest episodes or support us by checking out any of our earlier episodes. I'm hosting this week. My name is Dawson Henry, and it's my pleasure to tell you the story of The Last Call. Bastila was a legend of the past. In 430 BC in ancient Greece, there used to be a woman of great beauty. Her pearl necklace that always adorned her collar was the same. The two shared a beauty so insurmountable it was intoxicating to most. So intoxicating, Bastila seemingly could influence men and women alike to do just as she pleased on a whim. It wasn't until a group of villagers in Greece took matters into their own hands as they captured Bastila and drowned her in the ocean of the Mediterranean. Bastila's body, her necklace, her influence was lost to time.
My name is James Brooks. I just got home from the war to my loving wife Lily, my son Charles, and my newly born daughter Margaret. They've deemed it the Great War, though it was anything but great. Today we're moving into our new family home. Well, new to them. I grew up in this house. It belonged to my father before we left for France, but that was years ago. Moving into this house means things aren't going to be the same. However, my father left it to me in his will, as a way for me and mine to keep our family's legacy. I feel it's the least I can do. As we unloaded ourselves from the automobile, Charles rushed into the house with the energy I wish I still had. Lily. Her smile lit up the sky when she turned back to me after seeing the house. I spent the next few hours unloading as much furniture and household items as I could, until eventually darkness overtook the sky. Later that night, I found it. Packaged up, never opened, our brand new radio. Lily and I had just bought this, and we were so excited to use it for the first time. I called out, "Lily, I think I just got this to start working." Nifty! Lily and I stood there, each of us equally shocked at the sounds coming out of this little contraption. As the night wore on with the kids put to bed, Lily came down the stairs and I grabbed her hand as I pulled her towards the center of the living room. We slowly danced to the sounds of our new life, our new radio. A few days passed, and the furniture had now found their spots to rest. Lily and I began polishing up the house by cleaning and doing some final rearranging. Charles shouted out to us. We both turned to face him in the living room.
"Hey, Daddy, can you get that cellar door open for me? It's too heavy."
What are you doing, trying to get into the cellar?
Well, Grandpa keeps telling me to help him get out.
Heartbreak and a touch of worry began to wash over me. Charles, Grandpa isn't in the cellar. You remember what I told you MIA stands for, yeah?
Missing in action?
So?
I don't know why letters matter, but I heard him. He's down there.
I turned to Lily. Her expression was the same as mine. How about this, kid? We'll both go into the cellar. I led Charles to the cellar door, just beside the staircase on the ground floor. As I pulled on the dark iron handle, creaking of neglected hinges started singing a well-rusted song. Looking down into the cellar, only the hallway light of the interior above us illuminated the room below. Each step we took down the wooden stairs was accompanied by a plume of dust that rose against the legs of my trousers. I reached the center of the cellar, pulling on a light golden chain where a ceiling light cast away the shadows of the small, cramped room. Wooden panels, dust-covered bookshelves, and jarred preservatives, showing their years of neglect, stood pressed against the walls. Charles, Grandpa's gone, all right. Now I don't want to hear any more of it. Charles looked at me confused, but seemed to understand as he shifted back to his playful self and raced up the stairs with his toy in hand, leaving me behind under the dim, yellow light. Those sounds. You couldn't mistake them for anything else. I swear, I feel that if I can push through these walls, I'll be back on the front. I quickly shook the feeling and made my way upstairs, closing the cellar door behind me. That's when the echo of a knock at the door danced through the foyer, past me, and up the staircase. I walked only a few steps to meet the door. As I opened it, an unkempt man, long gray hair sprouting from all angles on his head and from his face, wearing clothes that were tattered and filthy, stood in the threshold of the doorway.
Come back.
Sir,
Come back.
can I help you?
Come back. Come back.
Excuse me?
Come back. Come
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Come back.
I'm calling the police.
Come back.
If you don't stop this right now, I'll deal with you myself.
Come back. Come back. Come back.
I was terrified, but stoically closed the door, perturbed by the situation. Hours passed, and I continued to check the windows for the guest, but eventually any trace of the visitor was gone. A few long nights had passed after the unwelcome visitor had come calling, and I rolled over one night and found myself in an empty bed.
Honey, can you come in here and help me with Margaret?
I sat up. I made my way swiftly out of the room and across the hall to the nursery. When I got there, I saw my sweet little joy, Margaret. She was sound asleep, still tucked into a crib. I sat there for a moment, just admiring my daughter. That's when I realized Lily wasn't in the room. I quietly made my way out and down the staircase. That's when I saw that the front door was wide open and the cellar was the same. Confused, I shut the door, locked it, and made my way to the light pouring out of the cellar and into the moonlit hallways. As I made my way down, all I saw was Charles standing where a bookshelf had fallen over. Behind where it once stood, a rock-walled pathway with wooden splints holding its square frame beckoned. I addressed Charles, but stayed fixated on the new home renovation. What are you doing up so late?
Grandpa just came into the house and he went that way. I wanted to follow him, but I was too scared.
Charles, go find your mother and stay with her, okay?
But
Now! Charles ran upstairs out of view. I had lived here for my entire childhood, but I don't remember ever knowing of a tunnelway beneath the house. I grabbed an oil lantern tucked away in the mess and lit the small wick as the burning oil left a black, smoky sigil in the air. As I continued down the path, I saw the cavern wall begin to widen and a faint, dull light became visible. A mineshaft junction, 2 levels high, with myself standing on a wooden balcony above the cavern flooring and heavy rusted track. That's when I heard it. My father. I could hear him. I jumped down and began chasing after the sound, running as fast as I could through the cold, damp tunnelways. That's when the tunnels opened up. A cavern with a pool of crystal clear water in the center. There, squatting in the pooled flood water, sat the old man from just days ago, though strangely more familiar now. I know this man. He's... He is the enemy! I walked to the old man and struck him in the back of the head. Strike after strike, the lantern became nothing more than shattered glass and bent metal in my hands. Until the pool of water now stood still and tinted red. Then I saw it. Under the body, what he had been holding. Shimmering in the water. I pulled out a pearl opalescent necklace, watching as the water ran off of each bead. All I could do was stand and admire the necklace. I'd never seen anything like it. Time seemed to pass, but it didn't matter. Honestly, I'd forgotten why I was even down here. I looked down at my wrinkled hands and bony arms and thought to myself, why would an old man such as myself be down here? I started walking further down into the caves, one phrase being all I could think while clutching the necklace in my hand. I just said it out loud and repeated it time and time again as I walked. Come back. Come back. Come back. Come back.
You can go to the west, but someday you'll come. Weary at heart, back where you started from. You'll find your happiness lies right under your eyes, back in your own backyard.
Thank you for listening to the Don't Panic podcast. The Last Call was written and produced by Dawson Henry and performed by Austin Winstead as James Brooks, Gabrielle Stoll as Lily, Daniel Mahi as Charles, and Dawson Henry as the stranger and the narrator. And more episodes are yet to come. To keep up with our latest episodes and to watch some of our previous episodes, check us out at our website don'tpanic.com. Or support us by joining our socials to become one of our members with the Don't Panic community. On behalf of the Don't Panic podcast crew, we want to thank you for being a supporter.